What the frick is that noise? Oh, my dear God. Mayor Aaron, what in the world are you doing?
Oh, hey there, Mayor Alexa. See, I'm just getting into character for today's figure review. We have TNA Impact's Miss Tessmacher, or Brooke Tessmacher, or Brooke Adams, as you can call her when she was in WWE. But anyway, she was like the queen of twerking before twerking was even cool.
You twerking will never be cool. Just traumatizing.
Hey, that is not true, Mayor Alexa. Not true at all. See, when I was in college, they actually called me Twerkules. No joke. You know why? Because I was a savage on the dance floor with my twerks. Actually, you ever seen me do the twerk dog?
What's a twerk dog? Wow, okay. Can you be done so I can go back to sleep peacefully?
Whew. No. Listen, Mayor Alexa, I will not be done. I will not stop until I get you on this wall and you break it down for your boy, Mayor Aaron. Break it down.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Get it, 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 get it. Hey y'all, welcome to LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Now today I am super excited because I'm going to be reviewing for the first time ever a TNA Impact women's figure. And I have heard a lot of good things about this line, but it came out around the time I wasn't collecting at all in 2013, so I never had one. So going back and looking at images, these look awesome, and down the road I'd like to collect them all and do one big history video, hopefully this summer. But yeah, the reason I hunted down this Miss Tessmacher and the reason I want this to be the first TNA Impact women's figure that I review is because I was a big fan of hers. I thought she was awesome, and even though she was only a one-time Knockouts champion, I remember her reign, actually. I remember watching. And yeah, I've really wanted this figure. Took a while to find it. And with that being said, we're going to take a closer look at the box, then open it up, get a closer look, and then compare it to an Elite that came out in 2013 to see how that line holds up to the WWE line at the time. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is take a look at this figure MOC and check out the carding. Now, this is a very tough figure to come by. But I would suggest if you do come across one with that carding in good condition, I would keep it MOC because even though it's a pretty basic, pretty plain background there, I think it pops and I think this figure looks stunning. So I would keep this MOC if you can come across one, but I'm going to open mine, not only so I can fully appreciate the figure, but also so I can give y'all a good review of it, so I'm pretty excited. Now, taking a closer look at the top here, it has the Impact Wrestling logo, along with a photo of Miss Tessmacher. Now, needless to say, I had a ginormous crush, still kind of do, on Brooke Tessmacher. I think she's like the most beautiful woman in the world, but I also really appreciated her in-ring work and thought she was truly underrated, and I absolutely loved her charisma, so overall I was just a huge fan. So yeah, as you can see here, it looks great, mint on card. Now this is Series 10, which I believe was the end of the line, somewhere around the end there, and this did come out in 2013 by Jax, and I'm sure y'all are familiar with Jax if you collected Ruthless Aggression or Bone Crunching Action WWE figures. Now, turning it around, we have the rest of the figures in the line. We have a grizzled Kurt Angle there. We have RVD, and then we have a couple of names I'm not familiar with, such as Rob Terry here, and then Crimson. So yeah, I think this card, even though it's plain and simple, I think it looks great. And if I ever found this in really good condition, I probably would buy another one to keep men on card. Now with that being said, let's open it up. Miss Tessmacher from TNA Deluxe Impact Series 10, released in 2013. This attire was most notably worn when she won the Knockouts Women's Championship against Gail Kim at Slammiversary 10 on June 10th, 2012. Slammiversary is Impact Wrestling's equivalent to WrestleMania. Wow, my first impressions of this figure taking it out of the box is that this figure frickin' rules. I'm blown away, honestly. I didn't expect it to be this good. So we're going to take a closer look at all the attire details, her face details, do some comparison pics, but I just want to give you all my first impressions because as of now, before I even get a closer look, this is probably one of my top 10 favorite women's wrestling figures I have. So with that being said, let's take a closer look at that face. So as far as her face scan goes, and yes, I would say in 2013 they did have scanning technology, considering that those Ruthless Aggression figures in the mid to late 2000s had that scanning technology as well. So whatever scanning technology they used, they knocked it out of the frickin' park with Brooke here. I think it looks just like her. I think it's great. I also really like the hair. It's just a simple brown mold, but it fits perfectly and looks just like her hair. So yeah, as far as this face and hair sculpt goes, this is great. Now let's move on to the attire. So moving on to the attire, this is honestly where the figure really takes off to me. Now the first thing I am going to note is take note Mattel. Take note Mattel in 2021 and look at the metallic paint that they used on her attire. What a difference it makes. So starting on her top here, it is a molded top piece, but it is painted very intricately. We see that there's a pearl metallic type white. It's kind of hard to see on the camera. A solid red, and then a solid blue. And moving around, it just has blue and red going across. Now, these elbow pads, I guess you'd call them sleeves more so on this figure. Look at that blue. That is a metallic, shiny blue paint. And this goes back to me saying if they would add metallic paint to the women's figures of today, it would really make a difference. A sparkly, shiny, metallic paint, whatever it may be. Because look how it pops on this figure. And if you look at pictures compared to her in real life in her attire, it's pretty spot on. So I also like that there's a little star behind each elbow. Now moving to her lower body is just plain red with a blue waistband painted around. We got that star on the side with that metallic pearl white. And then her knee pads are just a blue color with white stars. And her boots have that metallic blue as the laces going all the way down. And this is all painted on deco, but the way that they did it is tremendous. So not only does this attire pop out and it's super accurate, but that use of the metallic paint is so freaking awesome. And I wish that they did that today. So now let's cover articulation, because that's something that I don't know really what to expect from this figure. Now I'm guessing it's pretty similar to the Jakks WWE Deluxe Aggression figures that came out a little before this, but let's get started. So her head can move right and left pretty well, actually. Usually the hair mold stops that head articulation in a lot of the Mattel figures, but this hair is pretty pliable, so she has that good left and right look. The head does not go up and down, however, very well. The shoulder is on a ball joint, goes all over the place. We have that upper arm swivel. Single jointed elbows can flex to about 90 degrees. Her wrist has a swivel joint. Also, look at that little tattoo detail. Nice. The wrist can also flex and extend. She does not have upper torso rotation that we see on the elites, but she does have this bend, this ab crunch, I guess you'd call it. And also, if you look, the belly button's painted on, which it's fine. It's really not that noticeable. Now, she also has a little waist swivel. And this is where it gets a little interesting. So her hip is on this ball joint, but she has this upper thigh rotation that can kind of move all over the place. Like, it's kind of crazy. The hip articulation, I would say, is better than the Mattel figures at this time, especially. And then going to the knee, it's just a single joint, can flex about 90 degrees. And then the foot can rock up and down. Also, let's see, is there a little boot swivel? There is not boot swivel, so the articulation, I'd say, is a little limited compared to elites. But honestly, that hip is pretty groundbreaking. I really like that hip movement there. So yeah, let's compare it to an elite. Alright, so something fun I wanted to do was compare the two wrestling brands and toy lines at the time. On the left, we obviously have that Miss Tessmacher from TNA Impact Series 10. And on the right, we have Mattel Elite 24 Trish Stratus. Now, both of these figures were released in 2013. And which one's better, that is all up for debate and personal preferences because they're both great figures. And honestly, I was blown away by this TNA Impact Women's figure because it is so much better when you open it up and take a closer look at it. Like, the quality is there. It is pretty darn awesome. Now, the reason I wanted to put these side by side is both women are listed at 5'4", both Trish and Brooke. And Brooke towers over Trish. So, they are not in scale with each other. Now, I know this is my first TNA Impact Women's figure I've opened up and taken a closer look, but I do have a Madison Rainman on card, and the figure seems a lot taller than it should be, so I just think they're not in scale with each other. But either way, they're both great lines, both great figures, and the quality is there. So I am continued to be wowed and impressed by this TNA Impact line, and this figure alone has made me want to get more. So I'm pretty excited. But yeah, in 2013, we had two different brands and companies producing women's wrestling figures that both kick ass. And here's one last look at Miss Tessmacher from TNA Deluxe Impact Series 10, released in 2013. So overall, I give TNA Deluxe Impact Series 10 Miss Tessmacher a score of a 9 out of 10. I mean, this figure blew me away and exceeded my expectations. And I'm glad that this was my very first TNA Impact women's figure that I reviewed. Now, it does suck that she doesn't come with the Knockouts title, and it does suck that she doesn't come with any other accessories. But for what this figure is, the attention to detail and the overall likeness to Brooke is freaking astounding. And this made me a fan of that line, and I can't wait to start collecting them, honestly. Now, the unfortunate thing about this figure is it doesn't pop up much. You know, I check eBay and Mercari all the time. Gail Kim is still one of those figures that I have not been able to obtain, but when I do, I will review it. And this is one that took me a while to get as well, but me being such a huge fan of Brooke Tessmacher, I'm glad I got this. So yeah, this figure rules, and this line, I think it's going to rule, but we'll dive into that more this summer. Thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. For a first look at all future women's wrestling figures, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Also, this summer in LumberJillville, we're going to be doing a lot of throwback-related videos, including a history of Sable figures, amongst many more. So make sure you tune in and check them out. Have a great night, y'all.